big, massive arms at home with nothing but some real inexpensive dumbbells and some even less expensive resistance bands. Hey guys, I'm Mark McIlyar with Live Anabolic, and today I put together a great arm workout. And when most guys think arms, they just, do their biceps, and that's good, and they go home. But guys, your triceps are 2/3 of the muscle mass on your upper arm. So don't neglect triceps. Matter of fact, I got a friend of mine who's just, blessed with naturally big triceps. And so he actually has to worry more about building his biceps. His tris are just naturally big. But I like doing biceps and triceps together, okay? A lot of guys at the gym will do a push day where they do chest and triceps and shoulders, and then they do a pull day where they do back and biceps. I used to do that, but I don't anymore. I really like doing this better. I'm just doing arms, and that means biceps and triceps. And I have a really cool way to do it. I think you'll really like it. All right, so what is that really cool way to do my biceps and triceps? It's pretty simple. I alternate between the two different muscle groups, and it just works out fantastic for giving each muscle group some rest while I'm doing the other muscle group, and it makes it way more time efficient. So instead of just kind of moping around for a minute and a half or 2 minutes in between sets, you can actually do a different exercise, all right, and you still get your needed rest in between bicep exercises and tricep exercises. So this is how I do it at the gym, this is how I do it at home, and the neat thing about doing arms at home is we can replicate pretty much every exercise that we do at the gym with nothing more than just some dumbbells and some resistance bands. It's real straightforward. So let me show you what I'm gonna do here. All right, I'm gonna start off, all right, doing a bicep exercise, and then I'm only gonna rest about 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna go straight to a tricep exercise, and then rest 30 seconds and go back to the same bicep exercise. And you can go back and forth like that until you hit each muscle for 2 or 3 sets. It's real straightforward. So the first one we're gonna do today is just a concentration curl. The only drawback to doing these is you do one arm at a time, so it takes twice as long. But the benefit is you can really focus on the mind-muscle connection when you're only doing one arm at a time. So this is how I do it. I put my offhand on my thigh right here, and it forms a little rest. And I stick my elbow right there between my thigh and my hand, and I just curl the weight up, guys. Don't let it swing down at the bottom, okay? Control that weight all the way down, and see right there, it's not swinging, and then all I do is contract the bicep. So a lot of guys will do this, and they kind of swing it at the bottom, and then they use momentum at the bottom of the movement to get the weight moving back up. And yes, that does build your bicep, but it's not as effective, okay? So, hand on my thigh, I put my elbow right here in between my thigh and my wrist, and I just use that as a leverage point that will keep my elbow really still. And one of the great things about doing concentration curls, guys, is it's much harder to cheat. As long as you don't swing at the very bottom, man, everything else just takes care of itself. When you're standing up doing these kind of curls, okay, your elbow isn't anchored and you can move it around. So no matter how hard you concentrate and keep your elbows, by your side and not moving, you're still gonna move them a little bit. This really is a great way to focus on the biceps, and you're gonna feel an intense burn, guys. All right, so after you've done concentration curls on both arms, just one set, okay, give yourself about 30 seconds rest. And you don't need 2 minutes, okay? Because now we're just gonna go focus exclusively on our triceps. And while we're doing that, your bicep muscles will get plenty of rest, okay? So this is how I break it up at the gym. It's just way more efficient. Now I'm gonna be doing two-handed skull crushers here. And just real straightforward, guys. I'm always focusing on trying to keep my elbows still or in one place as much as possible. You know, this particular exercise, they're gonna move around a little bit, and that's fine. And the other thing you guys need to focus on is not using too much weight. This is an exercise where you really just can't use much weight. You should be able to do less weight actually on this exercise versus the concentration curls. And as you can see, I like bringing them down until the flange touches my shoulder and then straight back at the top. Now, one thing at the top, see how my arms are kind of leaning forward or above my head? I'm not bringing the dumbbells to here because when I'm right here, all the weight is being transferred straight through my bones and joints straight to my shoulder. My triceps really aren't engaged, okay? But if I go down and stop here, I still can feel my triceps, okay? I can feel those triceps flexing. Ugh. All right. Knock out a good set, all right? Now rest about 30 seconds or so, and we can go back and do those concentration curls again. And you can just alternate back and forth until you complete the number of sets on each muscle before moving on to the next two exercises that I'm going to show you. All right, so guys, the next arm combo I'm going to do are inclined curls. All right, I'm going to be doing two arms at the same time. So after we do a set of that, we'll give ourselves about 30 seconds, maybe a minute max rest before we move on to the tricep pushdowns, okay? That's a band exercise. And then I'm just gonna bounce back and forth between those two exercises until I get 2, maybe 3 sets on both exercises. All right, you don't see guys doing this nearly enough. Matter of fact, I don't do this enough at the gym, all right? And because we're starting in this position, it makes your biceps stretch way, way more at the beginning of the movement, all right? I'm in a much more extended position here, and I'm just gonna bring both dumbbells up and down. And guys, you can rotate the dumbbell slightly as you come up. And matter of fact, I do this at the gym a lot. I'll do one set like this where I'm rotating the dumbbells, and then when I come back and do my second set, I'll just do all hammer curls, just like this. All right, I really like mixing things up, all right? So one set of incline curls, and of course that's the hammer curl version. All right, then we put these down, and you do typically need to take at least 30 seconds of rest because if you're pushing yourself hard enough, you're gonna feel the muscles start burning. That's that lactic acid building up, okay, in your muscles. And it takes a good half a minute to a minute before you can pump that lactic acid out of the muscles and you start feeling better. And you do need to get a little bit of recovery before we go hit our tricep exercise. All right, so just finished a set of inclined curls. And you know, I'm doing a different exercise in a completely different room. It only takes me 10 seconds to walk back and forth. So, you know, take about 30, 45 seconds rest, and boom, let's hit our triceps while our biceps are getting a little breather. All right, just straight down and up. You gotta lean forward, guys. Don't try to get too close to the door. I like leaning forward and then just focusing on a spot on the floor about 2 feet in front of me. And then of course the other thing I'm trying to do is to keep my elbows as still as possible. And then really squeeze those triceps at the bottom of the movement and slowly control those bands, that resistance on the way up. It's easier to control on the way down. On the way up, for some reason, it's harder for me to prevent those bands from just snapping up. But man, this is recreating an exercise at the gym where we're using these big cable crossover machines that cost, you know, I don't know, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. and we're doing it right here at home with a $20 set of bands, that's pretty good. All right, so there you go. Big, massive arms at home with nothing but some real inexpensive dumbbells and some even less expensive resistance bands. Doesn't take long. This is a workout y'all can do twice a week, okay? These are small muscle groups. They recover pretty quick, okay? It's not like doing quads or hamstrings, lower body, where it takes, 3 to 4 days for the muscles to recuperate. So I have no problem with you guys hitting your arms twice a week, but this is a real efficient way to do it because we're giving one muscle time to rest while we're still accomplishing something. We're hitting the other muscle group. Way quicker to do it this way than to just do biceps and do them with, say, your chest or your shoulders or something like that, because then you end up resting way longer. And if you got the time, that's cool, but this is the most efficient way to build arms at home. And remember, guys, you'll get big arms, but only if you stick with it and never give up on yourself.